What is going on, everybody? It's Taylor Roberts, and welcome to Off the Deep End. If you're just joining us for the first time, we're in the middle of a Madonna deep dive where we explore her artistry through her music videos, and performances, which means new Madonna reactions until we reach the end of her discography. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell button so you get notification of when those new videos drop. Hop on over to Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Give me a follow. If you would like to help support the OTDE channel and the deep dive series, there is a Patreon link down in the description where for $3 or $5 a month, you can get access to exclusive deep dive bonus content, B-side reactions, extra music video reactions, requests, new music reactions, live streams, drunk reactions, all kinds of cool stuff. So go and check out the link down in the description if you got the time. And guys, we're in the True Blue era. Now, just a recap on Like a Virgin and Madonna's self-titled debut album, it was a drastic change sonically. So I'm curious if that same sound that we got from Like a Virgin is going to carry on over here to True Blue, or if we're just going to get a completely different project sonically. But I'm looking forward to get into it, and I don't want to waste any more of your guys' times because I know y'all are ready to listen to the album. So let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Already a little different, right? These strings are different. Ooh. There's a lot more of a rock influence in this than we've gotten before in the past. Especially in that bass, listen to it. The chorus is just so crazy. Oh man. Another switch up. I thought that chorus was coming. Woo! Oh, I like this. I gotta heart this. What the fuck, yo? Hey, shit. Jesus. Well, you know, I guess this song technically answered my question that I had in the beginning of, is this album going to be sonically different than the last two albums? And fuck yes, it is. Holy shit. I loved that. It's so like, it had like influences of like Sting and the Police, and then Phil Collins, especially when that drum breakdown came on. Definitely a heavy influence of some Phil Collins, like In the Air Tonight. You know, it almost sonically, that song I feel would fit well with Phil Collins too. The very airy kind of rock operatic. It's not super operatic, but more of like this kind of airy rock vibe, which is totally different for Madonna. Now, you know, I know when I did the Gambler reaction, I had talked about saying that there was some, like, I felt there was like a certain edge in Madonna's music and her sound now. And this is just taking that edge and just dialing it up to 100%. I mean, everything about that song was amazing. It just a total switch sonically. experimentally, again, experimenting with their vocals, which she did a lot in Like a Virgin, but this is, taking it to the next level, playing with those delays again, but creating that atmosphere for the song to live in. And also, can I just say the hook when it's like, Papa don't preach, like that is just so like, pa 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 pa, like you hear it and it's just, I don't know, it just like hits you right here, out of nowhere. It's like daggers. Anyways, I kind of lost my shit over that song. I apologize. I don't apologize. That's a fucking dope song. What a way to open up the album. All right, moving on to Open Up Your Heart, or Open Your Heart. Woo! That arpeggio bass. Yeah, see, it's the way she's switching to that lower register here now, compared to the albums in the past. Just the way structurally, too, that the music is created is different than anything we've heard from her yet, you know? I love this little that little lead melody. I gotta heart this one too. Gotta heart it. Yeah, the biggest thing I'm noticing is not only sonically are these songs different, but the structure and the way the songs transition from, verse to chorus, verse to bridge. It's completely structurally different than anything we've heard from her before. In the last two albums, it's a little more of that modern pop structure of, lyric, pre-hook, or verse, pre-hook, hook, that kind of structural breakdown. Here, it kind of has more of a rock and roll structure to it, which of course matches the vibe of the music, because the music is very heavily rock influenced for sure. I mean, just hearing the drums, those crazy ass heavy rock drums just coming in and just tearing up that space. What was I saying? Guys, my brain is like scattered all over the place because I'm just like breaking everything down in my head while I'm listening to it. Well, I was talking about the structure. So the way that the song is structured from, verse to pre-hook to chorus to all that kind of stuff, it's I feel like is a little bit more free range, if you want to call it like that. Pop music is more kind of structured and it stays that way, but with rock you can kind of play with the structure a little bit. You can tease it, make it go that way, make it go this way. It's a very more kind of expressive, open art form, which is why I feel like she bringing this in here, if I can remember, at least from the research I did from the last two albums, she didn't really have so much creative control over her albums, but I'm sure after Like a Virgin blew up, I'm sure she had probably a lot more creative freedom here in this album at least. And so she was able to, make it have a little bit more of a not so structured, but a little more on the fly, a little more freeing type sound. I know when I go back and edit this, like my thoughts are going to be like all over the place, but this, I wasn't expecting this from this album. And I always say that. I was like, I'm never expect this because I don't. You know what I mean? Fucking Madonna, man. I see it. I see it. I see it.
A cop. How do you like that, boys? A cop. And we went for it. I went for it. Treated him like a kid brother. And I was going to split 50-50 with a cop.
Like, even the mixing. I know this is a reissued album, but I know the mix needs to be, like, somewhat the same here. But the mixing itself is experimental in its way. Woo! Hey. I love how the bass and the drums are the forefront of this song. Especially how aggressive the bass sounds. Dun, 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 dun. Woo! Those pads coming in, just creating like this wave crashing over the aggressiveness of the bass. So beautiful. This is what I'm talking about, structure. It's just so free, you know? Just let the music take it where it wants to go. Don't try to control it. I think what I liked most about that song is how just kind of it's a little bit different as far as the way that it is mixed. Now, like I said, this is the True Blue reissue, so it obviously isn't the initial issue of True Blue. So I don't know if the mix is the same or if it was cleaned up or what exactly. But I loved how in this one, I've talked about how Madonna's vocals are very much up in the front. But again, with this album, she's being a lot more experimental with the placement of her voice. And I like how her voice kind of sets back in the mix a little bit. And then she kind of lets the bass, which is very, very aggressive bass, kind of take the forefront and lead the song, which I think works perfectly for the song too. Because, she's talking about how her love is dangerous. And the bass just sounds aggressive to me. So it's that sense of danger, that's taking the forefront. And it's just, she's adding atmosphere with her voice to the song. And it's enough to where you can understand what she's saying. Obviously, you can understand the lyrics and everything, but it's a flip on letting the music be able to take the forefront instead of the vocals and letting it live and breathe and take it where it needs to go. Which is, again, drastically different from anything we've heard from Madonna before. I really love the creative freedom on this track, or on this album, though. I mean, there's so much. I feel like there's so many influences that she not only took from this album, but influences that other artists nowadays have taken in their own music, inspired from this album, too. Ooh. I'm already liking this. The darkness of these synths. Oh my god. I'm hearting the shit out of this. Heart, 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 heart. This is some like 1980s fucking law show, you know? NYPD Blue. This song has such a dark element to it. I love it. It's like a dark, seductive vibe. Right now, this is my favorite song on the album. Oh. Oh, beautiful harmonies. I love that part right there. Guys, this Live to Tell is definitely my favorite track on this album so far. Just the way it opened up with the synths. They're a little slightly out of tune a little bit, and they just clash together to create this ominous vibe. And it's dark, and it feels a little scary, to be honest. And then, of course, you bring in those rock drums again, which are just heavy hitting. That's been a major impact in a lot of these songs, is the drums, of just how heavy they are. And again, Madonna's vocals sitting a little bit farther back in the mix. I kind of really like the fact that, you know, she, for this album at least, sonically, I can tell she's playing a little bit more of the atmospheric artist than she has in her last albums, saying that, you know, I always talk about how artists use their voice. The voice is technically an instrument, right? But some artists use their voice in a way to where it works with the music and it becomes a part of the background tracks. And especially in this one here and in White Heat, you can tell Madonna the way that she's brought her vocals back. She's using that lower register first off, which is something completely new. We didn't hear any. We heard a little bit of the lower register in Like a Virgin, but she's using it like a lot more in this album. And that kind of just, it just works with the overall mix of the lower kind of frequencies of the music, and bringing those vocals back and letting it just kind of be in the background while you let the music take over. I feel like that's why these songs feel so kind of freeform and lacking any kind of structure. And it's kind of like a river where it's just kind of flowing and it knows where to go. And it's gonna take it there. You just have to let it happen, and you can't control it. But yeah, I think sonically so far, this album has been fucking awesome. And Live to Tell is definitely my favorite, hands down. Hey. Now we back with them heavy 80s synths, the bass. Such a mix, man. Into some classic Madonna. Okay. Ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Get
I love the energy of this one. I'm gonna let my hair hang down. I don't know what the fuck that is. Where's the party, man? That's such a fun, upbeat song, high energy. Such a contrast to Live to Tell. You know, you listen to Live to Tell and then that one comes on and you just don't expect it. But I feel like that is just like classic Madonna, self-debut, like a virgin type era. You know, that high register vocals, those fun kind of poppy synths and the kind of just rolling bass line, the you know, it's kind of like a touchback to that sound that she started with, but there's still little elements of the new sound that she's exploring in this album too, again with the drums, the rock elements, especially that rapid fire, that right before we get into the chorus, and then a little bit again experimenting and playing around with the sonic space. There was like some sound clips and stuff going on that were panned left and right that kind of just, it added to the overall atmosphere of the song and the overall energy of the song. The song feels a little chaotic. It feels a little crazy. I mean, it's a party song. So adding those little elements in there kind of just to add more to the chaoticness of the song, I thought was a great touch. But yes, definitely a classic Madonna soundscape compared to some of the other songs that we've gotten on here, but still enough of experimental and influence sonically from the other songs in this to be just slightly different. Hey! Woo! Some 80s doo-wop. Again, Queen of Harmonies, y'all. I love the mix of rock and doo-wop in here. Oh, I fucking love the harmonies, man. I'm a sucker for harmonies if you do them right. I'm a heart this one too. I gotta heart this one. True love, oh baby. True love, oh baby. True love, oh baby. True love, oh baby. True, baby. I don't know that last lyric. I apologize if I clap too much. I know I'm probably like doing this, and it's probably like catching on my mic. I apologize, but you know what? I can't help myself. It's just music that you can just get into and lose yourself. You know what I mean? True Blue. Okay, True Blue. Definitely a standout song on the track just because of how sonically different it has been from everything else, and genre wise too. We got a lot of pop on here. We got a lot of rock influence. And I want to call it like amphitheater space rock because it's very, you know, atmospheric rock. But with this True Blue song, we get a little bit more of, we get that 80s pop element to it, but it's heavily doo-wop inspired. And you can tell it's just the vocal melodies, the harmonies, and the background singers. It's just it's a doo-wop inspired song straight down to the core of it. And that's why it stands out on this album, I feel, because it's just completely different than anything on this album. Ooh. Hey. A little bit of that Spanish guitar coming in.
Last night I dreamt of San Pedro, known to be La Isla Bonita.
Oh, beautiful.
The sun would set so high, ring through my ears and sting my eyes, your Spanish lullaby.
Ooh, bring that guitar in, baby. Let's go. Got some Latin flavor to it.
San Pedro, warm wind carried on the sea, he called to me, lullaby.
Oh, I love that guitar, man. Beautiful.
I want to be where the sun warms the sky. When it's time for siesta, you can watch them go by. Beautiful faces, no cares in this world. Where a girl loves a boy and a boy loves a girl. La 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 la. Te dijo te amo. La 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 la. Él dijo que te ama.
Oh, nice. Heart in this one too. I'm gonna heart it. You know, I definitely think this is definitely Madonna's most experimental album so far. And not just sound wise, but influence wise as well. Like I said, we've got like rock in here, we've got pop in here, we've got doo-wop, some Latin infused vibes in this La Isla Bonita. And it's another track that stands out on its own, right? Just because of how drastically different it sounds. Just like True Blue sounds completely different than anything else on this album. And I do think this album is more of, you know, Madonna experimenting with sound, yes, but experimenting with genres and melding genres together, and certain genres that you don't think would mesh together. You know, especially taking that kind of 80s pop synth heavy sound and mixing it with the kind of Latin drums and percussions and the Spanish guitars a little bit. It's different. And it kind of shows the way that where, you know, she's able to take different types of music and introduce them into maybe a demographic or to listeners that wouldn't necessarily listen to that, but deliver it to them in a sound that they'll listen to, you know? So it's pop, but it has that rock element kind of brought into it and mixed into it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's blending genres for people who wouldn't necessarily listen to that certain genre at that certain time and making a completely new sound out of it. Again, another like cocaine Scarface montage song. This is like classic 1950s rock and roll now. I love those backing vocals. I'm not gonna lie, I really love when she gets into that lower register. It just adds something about her overall sound that I just love. See, again, what I'm talking about is her ability in this album to be able to take a certain genre and cover it up as something else. And Jimmy Jimmy, it's like, you know, doo-wop, shoe-bop, 1950s, 1960s, like classic rock and roll lyrics. I mean, not just the lyrics, but, you know, her vocal melodies, the way the background and the harmonies are playing together. It's very much in that structure of that type of music. But then you have the instrumental, which is this very heavy 80s, you know, that heavy bass, those heavy synths, the drums, the rapid paced drums. Like it's covered in that, you know, what we know now is like 80s pop in the day. Back then it was just pop music, but, you know, that 80s influenced pop. And a lot of artists do that today as well. But, you know, with Madonna, you can definitely see how she became kind of Madonna and managed to create new sounds, new genres. Now I feel like I'm in the Caribbean. It's like a straw hat and a fucking pina colada in my hand. I don't know what this dancing is. It just feels right for this song. Bop, 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 bop. Ooh. Get it with those harmonies. Hey, let's go. Break it down. Ooh. That one was a fun song. I like how it was high energy, and it's completely different than Papa Don't Preach, the way we open up the album. but it's a good way to close out the album. Wasn't my favorite song on this album for sure. But you know what it is? It was probably my least favorite song on this album, honestly. True Blue, guys. I am highly impressed with this album. Like I said, I don't know how much creative control Madonna had over this album. I'm gonna find out after I shoot this and I start doing the research for the album. But I feel like she probably might have had a little bit more control with this album than she had with Like a Virgin. I know, like I said, during Like a Virgin, she was having some problems with the labels because, you know, they didn't want to give her control. But after success of Like a Virgin and True Blue being her third album, I'm sure, you know, Madonna was huge after Like a Virgin. So, I'm sure she had a little bit more freedom with this, and you can definitely hear it in the album. I mean, the genres she explored with the music, the sounds she explored with the music. It was a very experimental, genre-bending album, which is different because I don't feel like we didn't hear, or I feel like there aren't a whole lot of genre-bending albums coming out of the 80s. Just from what I've heard music-wise from the 80s. Now, I know there's a shit ton of music that I haven't heard, or I can compare this to from the 80s, so I could be wrong, but I think this album could be one of those big albums that kind of is the first to be able to take certain elements from other genres and turn them into pop. Let's talk about it. Papa Don't Preach is a fucking rock song. Hands down, it's a fucking rock song. True Blue, doo-wop, right? It's some doo-wop. Live to Tell. Live to Tell is another rock song, but it's more of that kind of melancholy, dark, atmospheric rock you get with like Phil Collins and shit. La Isla Bonita is, you know, a little Latin infused song. Jimmy Jimmy, again, another doo-wop song, 1950s, 1960s inspired rock and roll song. And then Love Makes the World Go Round, of course, it has that Caribbean vibe to it. But there's just so much just genres explored on this album. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. Vocally, Madonna is using a lot of her lower register. And I kind of had an idea of that was happening because as we watched the B-sides, or as we watched like Gambler and the other music videos, she started using that lower register a lot more. And you can hear it here, and I think that lower register is what gives her that edge that I've talked about before, and it works really well with this, especially with some of the dark elements that we get in some of the songs. And then the fact that I feel like on some of her songs, she kind of let the music be at the forefront and pushed her vocals to the back of the mix so that she's still there and we can understand what she's saying, but you know, we let the bass take the lead. The bass is the star of the song, or the drums and the percussions are the stars of the song. So experimenting with the way you mix the music and you let the music take the control and everything like that. And also the structure of the music. Again, I feel like it's just like sandbox mode. You let the music go where you want to go. It doesn't follow the traditional pop structure. It's a little more freeform, you know. You want to go this way, you want to take a left here, let's take a left here. You want to take a left and then a right, let's take a left and then a right. Just let the music go where it wants to go. And I can feel that flow through the entire track list. But yes, True Blue, I think True Blue is probably the most ambitious project we've gotten from Madonna so far out of these last 3 albums. You know, Like a Virgin was the rise to a pop star. True Blue is the start of the rise to a superstar, I feel like. But yeah, Live to Tell, holy shit, what a song. I'm gonna add that to my driving playlist because that, hands down, favorite song. And I think Love Makes the World Goes Round is probably my least favorite song. Like I said, it's a fun, dancey song. Like, you can move to it. You want to have a good time to it, but as far as compared to all the other songs on here on this album, it's just kind of like, you know? But let me know your thoughts, guys, down in the comments, what you like, what you dislike about the album. Remember to like the video, share the video. Remember, new Madonna reactions until we reach the end of her discography. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell button so you get notification of when those new videos drop. hop on over to Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Give me a follow. The poll for the True Blue music video reaction is up on the community tab now. So go and vote on that. And of course, the rest of the music videos that don't win that poll will go on Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, if you would like to help support the OTDE channel and the Deep Dive series for $3 or $5 a month, you can get access to bonus Madonna content, bonus Deep Dive content, new music reactions, extra live streams, exclusive album reactions, a drunk reaction once a month, lots and lots of stuff. So there's a link down to the Patreon below. Go and check that out if you got the time. And that is all I got for you today. So until next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Hey, thanks for watching Off the Deep End. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, and share, and feel free to explore our channel and check out some of our other videos. Remember, new videos drop every week. Take care.